Hey everyone, and welcome to this in-depth explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here with us today. We are going to explore a really fascinating, overarching paradox found in ancient biblical texts. We're zooming in on a practice that honestly seems completely random to our modern eyes, casting lots. But as you'll see, it actually reveals a profound story about human nature, broken promises, and ultimate restoration. We are going to unpack some truly incredible historical and linguistic connections that span across centuries, so buckle up.
So let's jump right in with a bit of a mystery. I want to pose this hook question right out of the gate. Casting lots in the book of Joshua versus casting lots in the book of Acts. What is the fundamental difference? On the surface, it's the exact same action, right? People are rolling stones or drawing sticks to make a major decision. But historically and theologically, these two moments act as perfect mirror opposites. One is about tearing a community apart, and the other is about beautifully putting it back together.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, Covenant Broken by Greed. To really grasp the restoration part of the story, we first have to understand the break. And there are some striking, almost chilling parallels between two historical figures separated by hundreds of years, Achan in the Old Testament and Judas in the New Testament. Think about it. Achan was from the tribe of Judah. He secretly coveted and stole silver from the spoils of Jericho, which brought wrath down on the entire community and severed their covenant with God. Centuries later, Judas Iscariot, whose very name is a variation of Judah, was also overcome by a love for silver. He took 30 pieces to betray the Lord, violently severing the close-knit community of the disciples. In both of these cases, the root issue is identical. It's human greed causing a catastrophic break in the relationship between the head and the body.
You see, this isn't just about someone making a bad financial decision. The book of Colossians perfectly diagnoses this. It tells us that greed is a fatal spiritual disease. It flat out says greed is idolatry. It replaces God with a shiny object. When Achan and Judas let greed take over, they weren't just making a mistake. They were actively severing the body from its head. They were choosing an earthly idol over their covenant relationship, and that hidden idol brought the whole community to a grinding, painful halt. The covenant was completely broken.
Moving right along to Section 2, Holy Spirit Leading Restoration.
But here's the amazing part. The story doesn't end with a broken, amputated community. When the body is wounded and missing a piece, specifically that massive gap left by Judas, how does the head respond? Well, this brings us to the book of Acts, chapter 1. The disciples need to replace Judas. They nominate 2 men and then they pray with 3 very specific points. They say, "Lord, you know everyone's heart. Show us which of these 2 you have chosen." They didn't cast lots as some blind game of chance. Not at all. They were relying entirely on the Holy Spirit's active guidance over their hearts and their very fingertips. This was an act of total surrender to God's sovereignty.
And this illustrates a massive theological shift from the Old to the New Testament. In the Old Testament with Achan, casting lots was a tool of judgment. It was used to root out sin based on the failure of human works. The lot fell on Achan to expose his hidden greed and cast him out of the covenant. But in the New Testament, under the New Covenant, casting lots becomes a tool of restoration to bring someone in, and it's based entirely on grace. The physical mechanism of casting a lot is exactly the same, but the heart of God has shifted the outcome from exposing a sinner to gifting a leader.
Which brings us to Section 3, Matthias, Gift of Grace.
Now we get to look at the nominees themselves. And I've got to say, this is arguably the most brilliant etymological reveal in this entire narrative. The disciples had 2 candidates, Justus and Matthias. Let's look at that first guy. His name was Joseph, called Barsabbas, and also known as Justus. Justus is a Latin nickname meaning righteous or just. In the context of this overarching biblical story, justice represents everything human effort, fairness, and the righteousness of the law could possibly offer. It symbolizes that mindset of saying, hey, I am qualified, I have done the works. But as we know all too well, human righteousness is ultimately totally insufficient to heal a broken covenant.
Then we have the second candidate, the one upon whom the lot actually fell, Matthias. This is the Greek spelling of the Hebrew name Mattithia, which literally translates to gift of God or gift of Yahweh. This is the huge aha moment. God specifically bypasses human righteousness, justice, to establish his newly restored church purely on grace. God is essentially saying, I am not rebuilding my church on your human merit. I am giving you a free gift.
The absolutely crucial takeaway here is this. The gospel is all about God giving us a free gift of grace when we actually deserve judgment for our brokenness. The law demands a justice. It demands a perfectly righteous person. But let's be real, none of us are perfectly righteous. So instead, God steps in and provides a Matthias, a free gift of grace. And the ultimate gift, of course, is Jesus Christ himself.
Let's dive into Section 4, Union of Head and Body. Now let's take this incredible historical event and look at the profound anatomical metaphor that connects it to the teachings of the Apostle Paul. Ephesians tells us that the church is Christ's body, the fullness of him who fills everything in every way. Paul uses this deeply visceral imagery of Christ as the living head and the church as his physical body down here on earth. This isn't just some dry corporate organizational chart. This is a living, breathing, biological connection. The head supplies the life, the direction, and the healing to the body.
When we lay it all out like this, the entire story of Achan, Judas, and Matthias just clicks into place. Step 1. Greed acts as a spiritual amputation, completely severing the body. Step 2. The wounded body doesn't try to fix itself with its own righteousness or effort, it prays in faith. Step 3. The head, Jesus Christ, actively moves their hands through the Holy Spirit to cast the lot. And step 4, the body is beautifully reattached and restored with a gift of grace. The casting of lots in Acts wasn't just a simple board vote, it was the living head actively directing his severed body to heal it.
And finally, Section 5, New Life of Covenant People.
So what does this all mean for us today? This isn't just an ancient history lesson. This is about our new life as covenant people right now. Being connected to the head means our daily actions and our desires absolutely must align with him. Colossians provides a really clear application for this. First, we have to put to death earthly greed. We have to make sure we aren't hiding silver like Achan or Judas did. Second, we're called to seek things above, literally setting our minds on the head. And third, we are to live completely guided by the Holy Spirit. Think about it. If Christ is our head, then our hands, our feet, and our daily decisions should be animated by his Spirit, not by some earthly idolatry.
Now, you might be wondering, how do we actually sustain this? How do we avoid falling right back into the trap of self-righteousness, of trying to be justice? Well, it's by following this incredible directive from Hebrews. We fix our eyes on Jesus. Our ability to live this new covenant life is sustained entirely by looking to him. He is the author and perfecter of our faith. It is his grace, his gift, that keeps the body alive and moving forward, not our own merit.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a provocative question to chew on. Think about the lots cast in Acts. Think about those hands being guided by the Spirit. And ask yourself this: who is guiding your heart and your fingertips right now? Are your actions driven by hidden earthly desires that ultimately sever your connections? Or are you fully surrendered, allowing the living head to direct your every move as a beautiful gift of grace? It is a truly profound thought to carry with you today. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive, and keep seeking those fascinating connections.